The Council's judgment. The meeting at Nexus Prime. The Council chamber floated in the empty darkness between galaxies. Nexus Prime Station had served as neutral ground for over 12,000 years. Here, the ancient powers gathered to decide the fate of younger civilizations. The chamber itself was a marvel of engineering, a sphere 3 kilometers wide with transparent walls that showed the cosmic void beyond. Inside, 17 species sat in their designated sections, each area designed for their unique biology. Today's meeting carried unusual weight. Ambassador Korvax of the Zelthian Empire called the session to order. His crystalline form shimmered with purple light as he spoke. We are here to discuss the humans. This species has become a problem. The words echoed through translation devices worn by every delegate. Korvax had existed for 800 years, and his patience was legendary. That he would call humans a problem meant something serious had occurred. The evidence presented. High Chancellor Meridax of the Orvithai Collective stood next. Her 4 arms gestured at holographic displays that appeared in the chamber's center. The humans claimed to control only 23 star systems. Their official records show a fleet of 58 vessels. Their industrial output suggests a developing civilization, nothing more. She paused, letting her words settle. But our intelligence networks tell a different story. The holograms changed, showing shipping routes, energy signatures, and mathematical projections. Resources enter human space and disappear. Their population numbers do not match their food consumption patterns. Ships report traveling through human territory, but our deep space monitors show no corresponding traffic. Meridax's voice grew sharper. Either the humans are incompetent at record keeping, or they are deliberately hiding something significant. Murmurs rippled through the assembled delegates. The idea that a species barely 200 years into space travel could deceive the Council's intelligence services seemed absurd. Voices of caution. Not everyone agreed with immediate action. Elder Thrawn of the Vexillian Assembly raised his massive head. His species had evolved from herd animals on a heavy-gravity world, and they moved slowly, thought carefully, and rarely made mistakes. I urge patience, Thrawn said, his deep voice resonating through the chamber. Young species often have disorganized records. Perhaps we are seeing incompetence rather than deception. Ambassador Lyss of the Serpentine Accord hissed her disagreement. Her scaled body coiled around her platform as she spoke. I have monitored 43 exploration probes sent into human space over the past 30 years. 43. Only 7 returned with data. The others simply vanished. She fixed her yellow eyes on Thrawn. That is not incompetence, Elder. That is systematic elimination of surveillance assets. The war faction. General Kraxon of the Drachner Armada had heard enough talking. His species had built their empire through military might, and they respected only strength. Standing at full height, his armored scales gleaming under the chamber lights, he addressed the Council with barely contained aggression. Enough debate. The humans grow bold. They expand their territory. They ignore our guidance. They smile at our ambassadors while plotting in secret. Kraxon slammed his clawed fist against his platform. I propose a correction mission. We assemble a fleet of sufficient size to remove any doubt about our superiority. We travel to Earth, their home system, and present them with terms. They will surrender 2/3 of their territory. They will accept population controls. They will allow monitoring stations throughout their space. They will learn humility. The general's words found support among the military-minded species. The Zorthan Dominate, the Exulian Collective, and the Krell Federation all voiced agreement. A correction mission was an old tradition, used dozens of times throughout galactic history to remind ambitious young species of their place in the cosmic order. The vote. High Chancellor Meridax called for a formal vote. All in favor of initiating a correction mission against humanity. 12 species voted in favor. 4 abstained, including Elder Thrawn and the enigmatic Chorus, a Gestalt consciousness that rarely participated in military actions. Only one species voted against, the Keepers, an ancient race that had withdrawn from galactic politics millennia ago but maintained a single observer at council meetings. The Keeper's representative, a being whose true form was hidden behind flowing robes and a featureless mask, spoke for the first time in 200 years. "You are making a grave error." The voice was neither male nor female, neither young nor old. "We have watched this species called humanity. They are not what they appear to be. They carry something inside them, something dangerous and old. You should leave them alone." General Craxon laughed, a harsh barking sound. "The Keepers fear shadows. The humans will submit like all the others before them. Their choice is simple, surrender or be destroyed." Assembling the fleet. The Correction Fleet gathered at Rally Point Sigma, a barren system chosen for its proximity to human space. General Craxon took personal command aboard his flagship, the inevitable consequence, a battle cruiser 5 kilometers long that had broken siege lines and shattered planetary defenses across 200 campaigns. Around his flagship assembled the military might of 8 galactic powers. The fleet numbered 5,300 warships. Battleships and carriers formed the core, each one larger than human space stations. Cruisers and destroyers filled the attack formations. Support ships carried enough supplies for a year-long occupation. The combined firepower could reduce a planet to molten slag in hours. This was not an invasion force. This was a demonstration, a message written in steel and energy weapons. Intelligence reports. As the fleet prepared for departure, Director Vosk of the Zelthian Intelligence Network approached General Craxon in his ready room. Vosk's crystalline body pulsed with nervous amber light. "General, I must share updated intelligence before you depart." He activated a secure display. "We have detected unusual energy signatures throughout human space over the past 72 hours. Craxon barely glanced at the data. "What kind of signatures?" Vosk hesitated. "We are not certain. They do not match any known power generation or weapons technology. The signatures appear and disappear randomly. It could be new mining operations or perhaps experimental engines." The general waved a dismissive claw. "You see threats in every shadow, Director. The humans are primitives playing with toys they barely understand. Nothing more." Departure. The Correction Fleet entered hyperspace with precision that spoke of centuries of military coordination. 5,000 ships moving as one, their courses plotted to arrive simultaneously at the edge of the Sol system. The journey would take 4 days. During that time, the crew prepared boarding protocols, studied human ship designs, and reviewed occupation procedures. Everything had been planned down to the smallest detail. General Craxon stood on his command bridge, watching hyperspace flow past like a river of light. His second-in-command, Captain Velrix, approached. "General, do you truly believe the humans will surrender without resistance?" Craxon turned his massive head. "They have no choice, Captain. We have studied their weapons. We know their ship classes. We have counted their assets. They are outnumbered 100 to 1. Even the proudest species recognizes futility when facing it." The warning ignored. On the 3rd day of travel, a message reached the fleet through quantum channels. It originated from Nexus Prime, from the Keeper's representative. The message was brief: "Turn back now. You sail toward your own destruction. The humans are not what you think they are. They have prepared for this day since they first looked at the stars and saw they were not alone. Turn back while you still can." General Craxon deleted the message without sharing it with his command staff. The Keepers had grown paranoid in their isolation, seeing danger where none existed. The humans were a young species with delusions of importance. In 4 days, they would learn the truth about power in the galaxy. The Correction Fleet continued toward Sol, confident and utterly unprepared for what awaited them in the darkness. Arrival at Sol. Emergence. The correction fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Sol system with military precision. 5,300 warships appeared in perfect formation, their arrival timed to the exact millisecond. The sight was calculated to inspire awe and terror. Ship after ship blinked into existence, filling local space with steel and threat. General Kraxen watched from his command bridge as the fleet materialized around him. Status report. All vessels accounted for, General, Captain Velrix reported. Formation holding. No casualties from hyperspace transition. The tactical displays showed the entire fleet arrayed in attack posture, weapons charged but not targeting anything yet. Begin system scan. Locate the human defensive fleet. The sensor operators worked quickly, their instruments sweeping across the solar system. First contact detected. Contact, General. Single cluster of vessels holding position near the fourth planet. The tactical officer highlighted the location on the main display. Ship count, 58 vessels, mostly frigate class with some light cruisers. One carrier-type vessel. Matches our intelligence projections exactly. Kraxen studied the human formation with professional interest. They had positioned themselves between the invasion fleet and Earth, humanity's home world. It was a futile gesture but showed courage. Open a communication channel. All frequencies. I want every human in this system to hear what comes next. The demand. A tone indicated the channel was open and broadcasting. General Kraxen's voice carried across the void, transmitted on every frequency humanity used for communication. Attention, human vessels. I am General Kraxen, Supreme Commander of the Galactic Council Correction Fleet. Your species has been judged by the ancient powers of this galaxy. You have expanded beyond acceptable parameters. You have demonstrated dangerous ambition. You will now submit to correction. He paused, letting the silence carry its own weight. These are the terms you will accept. Surrender of 65% of all colonized systems. Immediate population controls as determined by Council oversight. Installation of monitoring stations throughout your remaining territory. Payment of tribute in resources and technology for a period of 500 standard years. Acceptance of all future Council directives without question or delay. The human response. The communication channel remained silent for 18 minutes. Kraxen used the time to review deployment plans. When the humans finally responded, a single face appeared on the view screen. Admiral Sarah Mitchell wore a simple Earth Defense Force uniform, dark gray with minimal decoration. Her brown hair was streaked with gray, pulled back in a practical style. Her face showed lines earned from years of responsibility. But her eyes, those were what caught Kraxen's attention. They held no fear, no panic, no desperation. They held something else entirely. Calculation. General Kraxen, I am Admiral Sarah Mitchell, Commander of the Sol Defense Initiative. I have reviewed your terms. Her voice was calm, almost conversational. I must inform you that Earth cannot accept these conditions. Kraxen felt a flicker of surprise. He had expected immediate surrender or perhaps desperate bargaining. This flat refusal was unexpected. Admiral Mitchell, perhaps you do not understand your situation. Look at your sensors. We have over 5,000 warships. You have 58. This is not a negotiation. This is reality. The truth revealed. Admiral Mitchell's expression didn't change. General, you are correct that we have 58 ships visible to your sensors. That number is accurate. She leaned forward slightly. What is not accurate is your assumption that those are the only ships we have. Kraxen felt his combat instincts activate, a tingling at the base of his spine that had kept him alive through countless battles. Explain yourself, Admiral. For 200 years, General, humanity has known we were not alone in the galaxy. We watched your civilizations from afar. We studied your histories, your wars, your conflicts. And we learned something important. Mitchell's voice remained steady. We learned that the galaxy does not welcome newcomers kindly. We learned that powerful species enforce their will on weaker ones. We learned that someday, someone would come to our system and demand our submission. She paused. So we prepared. Every resource humanity has produced, every advance in technology, every new mining operation and manufacturing facility has been dedicated to a single purpose. We built ships, General. Not 58 ships. We built an actual fleet. And we hid it. We hid it so well that your intelligence services never suspected, never imagined, never dreamed of the truth. The decloaking. Admiral Mitchell's face remained on screen, but her voice carried a new weight. You came here expecting to intimidate a defenseless species. You brought 5,000 ships to threaten 58. That was your first mistake. She looked directly at Craxon. Your second mistake was believing that humans are incapable of strategic thinking. We are quite capable, General. We simply choose our moments carefully. Mitchell gave a small nod, as if to someone off-screen. Cerberus Protocol. All vessels, decloak. Show them what humanity has built. The universe transformed. Space itself began to ripple and tear around the correction fleet. The darkness peeled away in massive sections, revealing metal and lights and weapons that had been invisible moments before. The hidden armada. Sensor alarms screamed across every ship in Craxon's fleet. The tactical displays exploded with new contacts, thousands of them, appearing from nowhere. Ships materialized from behind moons, emerged from asteroid fields, rose from the shadows of gas giants. They had been there all along, hidden by technology the Council's intelligence services had never detected. The Earth Defense Fleet decloaked in waves. First came the destroyers, sleek and deadly, bristling with missile ports. Then cruisers appeared, their railgun batteries already charging. Battleships followed, each one comparable in size to Council capital ships. And then came the carriers, massive vessels that dwarfed anything in the correction fleet. The largest was designated Cerberus, a ship 12 kilometers long that carried enough fighters to darken the sun. Around it clustered 3 more carriers, Hydra, Chimera, and Leviathan. Each one was a mobile fortress, a city designed for war. Captain Velric stared at the displays with shock. General, we are reading over 3,000 capital ships. Another 2,000 support vessels. Fighter count is. General, there are over 10,000 fighters launching from those carriers. The Dreadnought. But the Council fleet had not yet seen the most terrifying weapon in humanity's arsenal. Admiral Mitchell spoke again, her voice cutting through the chaos on Craxon's bridge. You brought 5,000 ships to intimidate us, General. Allow me to show you what true intimidation looks like. She gave another signal. Prometheus, decloak. At first, Craxon thought his sensors were malfunctioning. A section of space larger than his entire flagship was moving, shifting, changing. Then he realized he was looking at a ship, or rather, something that made the word ship feel inadequate. The human dreadnought Prometheus emerged from its cloaking field like a mountain rising from fog. 200 kilometers long, it wasn't a warship. It was a mobile weapons platform, a fortress that moved through space, a declaration that humanity would never again be helpless. Its hull was dark gray, almost black, covered in angular armor plates that deflected sensor scans. Along its length, thousands of weapon ports began to glow with building energy. Point defense systems rotated to track targets. Missile tubes opened like hungry mouths. The main cannon, running the entire length of the ship's spine, began to charge with power that registered on sensors across the system. Craxon's realization. General Craxon stood frozen on his command bridge, staring at the impossible sight before him. His military mind automatically calculated trajectories, weapon ranges, probable outcomes. The numbers that came back were devastating. The Earth Defense Fleet outnumbered his correction fleet. Their technology was clearly more advanced than Council intelligence had suggested. And that Dreadnought, that impossible mountain of weapons and armor, could probably destroy his flagship single-handedly. How? He heard himself ask. How did you hide this? Our intelligence services are the best in the galaxy. We have monitored your space for 2 centuries. Admiral Mitchell's face on the screen showed something that might have been pity. General, have you ever heard of a concept called operational security? Humanity excels at it. Every ship you are looking at was built in deep space, far from your observation posts. Every component was manufactured in hidden facilities. Every worker who touched these vessels understood that the survival of our species depended on secrecy. She continued, we fed your intelligence networks exactly what we wanted them to see. Normal shipping routes. Predictable industrial output. A small defensive fleet. We became invisible by being boring, unremarkable, beneath notice. And while you ignored us, we built an armada. The choice. Craxon found his voice again. This changes nothing. Even with your hidden fleet, we are evenly matched. A battle will result in catastrophic casualties for both sides. Admiral Mitchell nodded. You are correct. If we fight today, both fleets will be severely damaged. Tens of thousands will die. Is that what you want, General? Craxon's mind raced. He had come here to demonstrate Council superiority. Instead, he had discovered that humanity had spent 2 centuries preparing for this exact confrontation. Every tactical instinct he possessed screamed that this was a trap, that Mitchell had more surprises waiting. What are you proposing, Admiral? Mitchell's expression remained neutral. I am proposing that you take your fleet and leave. Return to the Council and inform them that humanity will not submit to correction. We claim sovereignty over our territory. We will defend it with every weapon at our disposal. But we are not interested in conquest. We want only to be left alone. She paused. This is your opportunity to avoid a war that neither of us can truly win. Choose wisely, General.